Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga Matchday 36. La Liga title race is over. We have a new champion. Barcelona can be crowned actually champions officially this Wednesday or Thursday. Alvaro Romeo, because Barcelona were much better in El Clásico, a crazy El Clásico with another comeback from Barcelona. I read is the comeback number 9 this season for Hansi Flick's men. And yeah, Barcelona overall has been better in La Liga and was better in El Clásico.
Yeah, and it was a game that showcased the season for Barcelona, a team who has comebacks in its DNA. They accept the problems very well. They don't panic, they don't get hysterical despite being 2-0 down. They ended up winning 4-3, and I think that they scored 4 goals in 26 minutes to turn the situation around. The first half was absolutely crazy. It's the victory of a team that is very technically gifted. I have to say that, with Olmo, Pedri and Frenkie de Jong in midfield plus Lamine Yamal. But then they've got players like Rafinha who press as if there was no tomorrow as well. And of course they take risks because Mbappe profited very well the high line of Barcelona. I think that the homework for the next season for Barcelona will be adding new layers to their defensive game. But I think that Real Madrid won the league in El Clásico, not arithmetically, but they just need one more win, and I think that they will collect it sooner than later. So I'm not going to say congratulations Barcelona because they haven't won it yet, but yeah, the league is pretty much over, in my opinion, at least, because the game, El Clásico, served the league title on a plate to Barcelona.
Well, the bookies don't pay anything actually for Barcelona to win. The market is closed, so you can imagine how clear is Barcelona's win in this La Liga. Well, there is plenty to talk about in the show. We will analyze both teams and, of course, the Champions League battle and the relegation battle, also very interesting one. So, guys, stay with us. Press the like, subscribe. Let's go on now with the show. And we have midweek games. On Tuesday, we have 3 games. Valladolid, Girona. Valladolid keep losing and losing. What to say about them? Only 16 points is 9 defeats in a row. And Girona 4 points above relegation right now. Perhaps they can be safe even without more points this season. But if they win the 3 points here, they can go on holidays after a tough season for them, and also after a tough season for the manager, Alvaro, with health issues. We didn't see Mitchell on the bench last weekend in another defeat for Girona.
Yeah, luckily he's going to be back at 𝗲𝗏𝗏, Valladolid ground. I'm really happy about that. We don't know what happened with Mitchell's health. We wish him the best. He seems to be a nice man, and he's a good manager. This season he couldn't take the team to the heights of last season, but if Girona gets safe, we can say that Girona at least hit their own target, which was staying in La Liga after a very difficult start of the season. Girona need about 3 points to stay in La Liga, and I believe that they can get them at 𝗲𝗏𝗏. Look, I don't think that Girona is going to thrash Valladolid. Do you remember that last week I followed the logic that Mallorca was going to beat Valladolid, but I handicapped positively the side from Valladolid, and that kind of work. I think that maybe this midweek, something like that may happen. I'm going to back Girona to win 165. With 3 points, Girona is going to be safe, and Valladolid is playing for nothing. Even though Valladolid has been better lately, they also took the lead in their previous game, but at the end they end up losing. I mean, if they lose the next 3 games, which is a possibility, they're going to hit an all-time La Liga record, which is losing 30 games in one season. They are on course for that, and Girona needs the win. I believe Girona is going to win this one. The money is not great. Obviously, I'm not keeping this game for Mallorca. I think the money is somewhere else. Girona to win 165, playing away, is what I would take. But again, Girona is a team that has shown some flaws this season too. So, this will be one of these games in which I'm pointing the people towards one result, but at the same time, I recommend everyone to look somewhere else to find a better value.
Well, let's try to find a better value in the next one. Real Sociedad, Celta de Vigo, ending badly the season. Real Sociedad lost 4-0 to Atlético de Madrid, and they are really in bad form, even with Imanol announcing that they are going to leave the club, actually. That he's going to leave the club. Actually, 3 games without scoring. Real Sociedad, probably they won't play European football next season. Is the opposite of Celta. Keep winning at home. Alvaro, great season for them in Balaidos and in Europa League spots.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the goals market here. I know that Real Sociedad is nowhere near what you would define as a high scoring side, that's for sure. But on the other hand, they got a responsibility towards themselves, the club, the badge they defend, and the fans. So they will try to win this game. And Celta de Vigo, it's in their DNA as well to go out there, attack, to try to challenge the opponent's defense. And I'm going to go for over 2.25 goals in this game. I think the money is decent, 179. If the game goes up to 2 goals, you suffer half a loss, but if it goes over 2 goals, you win it. Over 2.25 goals, 179. Very quickly on Real Sociedad, the second half of the season has been very poor by their own standards. Do you know how many points they got? 15 out of 48. I mean, that is relegation rhythm or pace. But they are not going to get relegated. They still have a chance of qualifying for the Conference League, and Real Sociedad has to fight for that. So that's why I think that at Real Arena they will try to win this game. But on the other hand, Celta is a team that scores a lot of goals. They have scored 11 goals in the last 4 games, including games against Barcelona and Real Madrid, and this is very important. Even against the toughest opposition, or on paper toughest opposition, Celta has managed to score a decent or good amount of goals. So I'm gonna back the goals market here. It's gonna be the 50th game for 𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐴𝐺 as a Celta manager. He has collected so far in 49 games, 19 wins. Doesn't sound like a lot, but number 1 is Celta. And number 2, the team was in a very complicated situation when he took over last year after Rafa Benitez's bad stint at the club. So, good job by Giraldez. Celta, if they win at Real Sociedad ground, they will be almost qualified for Europe for the next season. It's been a while that Celta is not there, and we have to praise, how Claudio Giraldez has lifted a few players that didn't look that good. I mean, Mingueza y 𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐴𝐺 looked totally lost as well, and he scored the other day. He has done a terrific job, and I think that Celta is going to score at Real Arena. That's why I'm going for the goals market, keeping into account that one of the best players of Celta, Marcos Alonso, former Chelsea wingback, is not going to be available for this game because he got a red card.
Well, let's move from Europe to the relegation. Sevilla, Unión Deportiva Las Palmas. I think Las Palmas are looking like a Segunda División team. Álvaro losing 2 games at home against Rayo Vallecano and Valencia. It looks really bad, but still with some hope. They are only 3 points away from Alavés, and they visit Sevilla in crisis. Even the players were attacked, we can say, by the supporters. The supporters very angry because they are only 4 points away from the bottom 3, and sacking García Pimienta perhaps was not a great idea with Caparrós still winless.
Maybe appointing García Pimienta wasn't a good idea, but maybe sacking Mendilibar was a bad idea. And maybe, appointing Víctor Horta as the sporting director was a bad idea too. The things that Sevilla has made a number of decisions as a club in the last 5 years that they were an absolute disaster. Of course, what happened with the Ultras, it's unacceptable. I mean, Sevilla players have to stay in the training ground and sleep there because the Ultras, were threatening them. Apparently, some Ultras have sent a few players and, some people from the board, even pictures with their own address, which is a proper threat. That's like mafia stuff. And this is totally unacceptable. totally unacceptable. Who do they think they are, these fans? Anyway, Sevilla is going to play with a bit of fear, if not a lot of fear. Not so much for maybe their integrity right now during the game, but probably because the relegation is not a big possibility, but a slight possibility, and the fan base is angry, and the atmosphere is not the best for a game like this. I don't know if Sánchez Pizjuán is going to turn up and cheer up their players, and maybe Las Palmas can profit a little bit from that feeling that Sevilla doesn't get enough support at home. But on the other hand, Las Palmas, if we look at their numbers, they only got 2 wins in the second half of the season. It's impossible to back them too. So you have to go to perhaps alternative markets or think that both are going to be really bad and therefore something like a draw can happen. The draw, by the way, has a really good value, 370. Normally the draw goes between 270 and 320, normally in La Liga. And suddenly a draw here is 370. You know, it's a great value. But maybe my favorite is both teams to score. Sevilla's defense is a bit of a disaster these days. And not that none of the sides are attacking forces, but the truth is that there will be mistakes. I believe that the pressure is going to be high from the fans of Sevilla towards Sevilla, and Las Palmas is leaky. So I think that both teams to score 195 is a possibility that can happen. I think that more or less that would be the places where I would go, keeping in mind that the double chance for Las Palmas, 191, is a decent value as well, considering how bad Sevilla has been at home. Sevilla at home has been a disaster. But the draw or both teams to score are certainly things that I believe are more likely to happen.
Well, let's keep talking about the relegation battle. On Wednesday, we have Alavés, Valencia. Alavés only 1 point above Leganés because they lost the derby against Athletic, and they keep, not scoring plenty of goals in their games, actually, in the last 5, all of them under 2.5 goals. And the opposite we can say about Valencia, Alvaro, was a big risk of relegation in January, and now they are looking at Europe. Corberán turned the omelette completely, and they are only 2 points away from European spots. Maybe in January, February, we were thinking about Valencia being relegated and Sevilla playing in Europe, and now it's completely the opposite.
Yes, it is. Look, for me, the candidate for manager of the season, or the candidates, have to be Corberán and Hansi Flick. I have no doubt about that. They've been incredibly good. Sorry, I couldn't get it right. Valencia is arithmetically saved. It's confirmed. Valencia are going to stay in La Liga, thanks to getting 22 points out of the last 30. The run is really good, and they are only 2 points away from the Conference League. And if you ask me, considering the dynamic, maybe Valencia is the most suited team to qualify for the Conference League right now. I know that Rayo Vallecano is in a good form, 2 straight wins. I believe that given the quality of some of their players, maybe Real Sociedad can be that team as well. But Valencia is the one who is rocketing up right now. 45 points. Who would have thought that Valencia would be in this point, at this stage? And they've been competitive everywhere because they beat Real Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu. Last weekend, they won a game that they wouldn't have won in the first half of the season. I'm pretty sure about that. Winning, at home to a team like Getafe, a clean sheet against them, and scoring 3 against Getafe, which is not easy because Getafe's defense is really good. And I know that Alavés is fighting for their lives, and sometimes when you are fighting for your life at home, you tend to get the result. For me, the biggest question is whether Valencia believes that the conference is a possibility. Because as I said before, last Saturday was confirmed that Valencia was arithmetically in the league for the next season. Will Valencia relax and decompress now after getting such a target? Or will they actually attack the Conference League? This is for me the question. But I have no reason to believe that Valencia will do it, because they have shown ambition. So I'm going to go for a double chance for Valencia here, 170.
Okay, Alvaro, let's move to the next game, Villarreal Leganés. Here we should keep talking about the relegation battle because Leganés are pretty much alive after beating Espanyol at home 3-2, so only 1 point away from Alavés, but now it's going to be very difficult because Villarreal are in great form and they made a huge step towards the Champions League, now 3 points away from Betis after beating Girona and seeing Betis also dropping points on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Villarreal is closer to the Champions League, and we have to say that the result of Betis against Osasuna was a blessing for Villarreal, who, by the way, will play against Barcelona at some point in the next week. And if Barcelona doesn't win the league against Espanyol, there is a possibility that they win it against Villarreal. All this to say that Villarreal knows that. And Villarreal knows that the best thing they can do is beating Leganés as soon as possible this midweek and make a massive leap stride towards the Champions League. I think they will qualify for the Champions League eventually. And Leganés is not going to be that easy because we know that Leganés, when they put a shift, they can make it tough. I remember Barcelona suffering against Leganés, definitely at home because they lost, but also away. Leganés results lately are three draws and 1 win. So they are steering the ship. I don't know if in the right direction, but at least they are pointing at Alavés right now, who is 17th. But Villarreal is also doing very well. 3 straight wins for them. 3 more points than Betis. I think Villarreal is going to win this game. There is a very interesting bet here, by the way, which is the positive Asian handicap for Leganés. And even the Oddspedia search engine recommends a plus 1.5 for Leganés, Asian handicap plus 1.5. It pays 195. Maybe Villarreal cannot beat Leganés for a high margin, and therefore you can go for that. Even the plus 1.75 could be good, in my opinion. Some people are asking, by the way, what the Asian handicap means in the comments of these videos. I think that there is a great explanation of you, Edu, in one of our tutorials. But anyway, for example, an Asian handicap plus 1.75 for Leganés means that if they win, you win. If they draw, you win. If they lose by 1, you win. And if they lose by 2, you only suffer half a lose. So for you, more or less, to understand. I could go for that one. Otherwise, individual market, there is a footballer who has scored 16 goals in the league, 16 goals who have given 22 points for Villarreal, which is a really, really, really good contribution. I'm talking about 𝐬𝐭𝐴 him to score 2.1. Check the lineup. If he's in, I will back him as well.
Yes, someone was criticizing in our previous video that we talk about Asian handicap, but it's very important for your betting strategy. So you can indeed check Oddspedia or our channel if you have doubts about it. Next one, Real Madrid. Mallorca, there are rumors saying that Real Madrid might announce on Monday or this week in general Carlo Ancelotti's departure. Of course, everyone knows that he is leaving and Xabi Alonso is arriving to Real Madrid, and they should make a good test, Alvaro, about what had failed this season, because you cannot go to Montjuic with this defense playing with Lucas Vázquez, who was awful, or Fran Garcia as left back, and also with no midfielders. We saw Rodrigo, someone said, not only on the bench, but he didn't want to play in the game. Of course, so many injuries, but Real Madrid played really bad this season. There was not a full game, I think, where they played all right, but it's only individual talent, and this is due to Ancelotti, I guess, but also, well, Florentino or the managers or the players. Alvaro, I think most of the players, they underperformed this season. This is...
Yeah. Well... Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right, Edu. I think that the underperformance of some players is there, and it's unquestionable. You mentioned, Fran Garcia and Lucas Vázquez, but I want to say that Barcelona played with Eric Garcia as a right back and Gerard Martin as a left back, and more or less they perform. Especially Eric Garcia has been good recently, scoring goals at San Siro and then against Real Madrid. So sometimes it's about the belief that these players have, the confidence that the manager gives them, and how well they are trained. And I think that Barcelona, Hansi Flick has gotten every player more or less ready, and Carlo Ancelotti has struggled with that this season. That's unquestionable. It's like I think that some players at Real Madrid have looked like a shadow of themselves. Lucas Vázquez, is not a right back. I know that. But I have seen Lucas Vázquez sometimes defending well as a right back. And what happened against Barcelona, one of the losses or the balls he gave away, were totally unacceptable. And it wasn't a problem with him playing in the wrong position. No, it was a problem of concentration. And this is a very different story. Then, one more thing about Real Madrid. I think that they don't know what they are going to do when they come out onto the game. The game plan is not very clear to me this season. It hasn't been, and not even for Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, a month ago he was asked about his preferred formation, and he said the 4-4-2, and then they asked him, but normally you are playing with a 4-3-3, so how come this is your preferred formation? And he gave a weird explanation saying that Rodrigo could defend more and therefore become a fourth midfielder, but this is not happening this season. And there is something else as well. I believe that you cannot win the league or big trophies without having a couple of referential midfielders. Look at Inter, look at Paris Saint-Germain. They're going to play a Champions League final. We're talking Çalhanoğlu here, one of the best holding or, all-round midfielders in Europe right now. We're talking about João Neves. We're talking about Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz. Real Madrid this season, since they let Toni Kroos go, they haven't replaced that department properly. And Camavinga, a player that I really think is really good, he cannot command the game. So over there, Real Madrid will have to sign a couple of midfielders, in my opinion. Midfielders to play in the middle, not Arda Güler, but, players of that strong personality hierarchy to play in the middle. If they don't do that, Real Madrid are going to suffer. Frenkie and Pedri are players that Real Madrid will pay a lot of money for. But anyway, coming into this game, I think Madrid is going to win it. Really. Because, they lost to Barcelona. They will have to, again, show a good version of themselves against Mallorca. But I think that the best possible money for me is in the goals market. So I will go for over 2.5 goals. 168. Not that Mallorca scores a lot, but I think Madrid is going to score a couple of them with Mbappe in this form. So I think that you can more or less guess what I'm going to go for. Over 2.5 goals or Mbappe to score. Both pay exactly the same thing. So I'm going to make a small combination, and it's going to be over 2.5 goals and Mbappe to score in this game. Small ACCA, 280.
Mbappe to score is indeed a great idea. He's in form and he's fighting for the Pichichi, for the top scorer of the competition. Then for Thursday, we have 3 games. Osasuna, Atlético de Madrid. Atletico suffering when they are outside the Metropolitano, when they play at home. Good numbers. It looks like they are more motivated with their crowd, Alvaro, and they smashed last weekend Real Sociedad with Sorloth scoring 4, but we saw them losing to Las Palmas, a sad draw also with Alavés, so this shouldn't be easy also in Pamplona.
No, I'm going to go for the goals market. Why? Because I think that Atlético de Madrid are going to be good at home because, at the end of the day, you play in front of your crowd. They have paid money to see you. You have to put a good performance. You have a sense of responsibility. So Atlético, Metropolitano, yes, I'm going to back them. Away from home, right now, having already qualified for the Champions League, I'm not too sure about that. So I'm going to go for the over market here. Both sides are playing for... Obviously, Osasuna has something to play for, which is qualifying for the Conference League. But Atlético de Madrid is not going to be very intimidated by the fact that Osasuna perhaps are more driven because they've got a target to fulfill. So my tip is the recommendation that Oddspedia gives as well, which is over 2.25 goals. It pays 179. Just very quickly on Osasuna, great draw against Betis. They could have beaten Betis, by the way, because they had good chances in the second half. In the same way that I praised 𝐬𝐭𝐴 before for his goal and point contribution to Villarreal, sorry, I have to say the same thing about Ante Budimir. He has scored 19 goals, and his 19 goals gave 21 points to Osasuna. If he scores 2 more goals, by the way, he will become the highest ever Osasuna scorer in one season. 2 more goals and he'll be there. You know what it means to score 19 goals for Osasuna? It's super difficult. So, his contribution to the team has been terrific. But what about Sorloth as well? This is a game of strikers. You can push that narrative straight away. Sorloth has scored a goal every 87 minutes in La Liga, and he scored the other day a hat-trick in 22 minutes. It wasn't his first hat-trick in 22 minutes, because last season he did the same thing with Villarreal as well. And Sorloth should play. He's gonna play. I think that the strikers can make a bit of a difference in this game. Over 2.25 goals, 179.
Next one is Rayo Betis. Betis probably tired after qualifying for the conference final. They drop points with Osasuna, so 3 points away from Villarreal, 3 points away from the Champions League spots, and Rayo also looking for European spots. Alvaro, right now they have the conference spot after beating Las Palmas away.
Yeah, and Rayo, they have won 2 games in a row. Their form away and at home is quite similar. So it's not the kind of team that suddenly collects 30 points at home and 17 away, and that's why they've got 47. I think they are more balanced than that. And Betis, I think that they are a great side right now. They drew with Osasuna, yes, but they are playing a lot of games, so that was going to happen at some point. I'm going to go for both teams to score in this game. Betis has scored with a certain ease lately, and Rayo are playing at home. Both teams to score 176. The value is pretty decent. Just very quickly on Betis, congratulations to them for qualifying for the Conference League final. There are a few teams that play or have played in La Liga who have reached a final before Betis, and this is quite incredible. Mallorca, Espanyol, Alavés, Zaragoza and Villarreal have all played European finals, not having won ever La Liga. Betis won at least La Liga title once, but they have never reached a European final. So it was about time for them to achieve something like that. It was a little bit of a blow, yes, drawing against Osasuna, but they are still 3 points away from Villarreal. The head-to-head with Villarreal is leveled, by the way, meaning that they better, score as many goals as possible. And I think that they can score here, but Rayo too. So I'm going to go for what I said, both teams to score 176.
We all remember, well, maybe not, but this final Liverpool Alavés with Jelly scoring an own goal to give Liverpool the trophy. Liverpool already with Gerrard, with Carragher, they had a great team. Well, Barcelona
Michael Owen, no?
Sorry?
Michael Owen, perhaps. Yeah,
Michael Owen, yeah. I was checking yesterday, actually, the lineups of this final. Michael Owen was there. Hipia, for instance.
What kind of pastimes do you have, Edu?
Yeah. Ryan Babel. It came to my mind. Yeah, that game. Next game is Espanyol Barcelona. What a game this one is, a derby, remember, and Barcelona can be crowned champions here if they win, or perhaps even before if Real Madrid lose to Mallorca. It's not the first time in recent history, actually, that Barcelona can be crowned champions in Espanyol ground. And what a season for Barcelona, Alvaro. Everything has to be positive for them, and one man above all, of course, Hansi Flick, because the squad is basically the same that Xavi had last season, but now all the players look like stars, superheroes, physically, technically. They understood really well what Flick wanted to say, and they are playing offensive football, so all is perfect for Barcelona.
No, it's very nice to watch. I think that the only thing for the next season, and Hansi Flick hinted that in the press conference after El Clásico, is that they will have to add to the team some defensive nuances. But yeah, the season has been super positive. There is a footballer that personally I want to watch all the time, Lamine Yamal, really. For me, aesthetically, it's very pleasing, a footballer like this. Do you remember the pass he gave to Rafinha with the toes in the first half? I mean, that pass was insane. Then Rafinha missed the header. They've got the talent, the very technical midfield, and some players will be recovered for the next season. I think that Ter Stegen will be the goalkeeper. Marc Bernal, a midfielder that I thought that he was very good, will be back as well. I believe that probably they need maybe one more option in attack and one fullback that can play both on the left and on the right as well. Like 𝐿𝐭𝐵 𝐻𝐿𝐴, but with a willingness to work, and unlike 𝐿𝐭𝐵 𝐻𝐿𝐴. But yeah, I think Barcelona is going to win the title this time. And I know that Espanyol has been good in the second half of the season, even though they have collected 3 straight defeats lately against Villarreal, Betis, and Leganés. The one against Leganés is the most painful one, obviously. But yeah, I think Barcelona is going to win it. I'm going to go for the following markets. Look, one of them is a funny one, but Barcelona has triggered comebacks in all their previous 4 games. So the first team to score to be Espanyol, which could be very logical considering what Barcelona are doing this season, pays 4.33. I'm not going to take it, obviously. This market for me is hyper speculative. I don't take this one ever. But Lamine Yamal to have 2 or more shots on target, something that happened against Real Madrid, I like it. We have to wait until those odds are available. Otherwise, Asian handicap minus 1.25 for Barcelona. For those who need an explanation of what this means, it means that if Barcelona wins by 2, you win. And if they win by 1, you suffer half a lose. So that will be my take here. An Asian handicap minus 1.25 for Barcelona pays 1.66.
And last game is Getafe Athletic. Here, very important for Athletic to grab mathematically the Champions League spot, although it's very, very close. Alvaro, they bounce back after the knockout in the Europa League beating Alavés at home, and Getafe could be a good ground to grab the 3 points because their season is over and they keep losing.
Yeah, they keep losing. It's 5 defeats in a row now. I referred the other day to what happened last season to Getafe. As soon as they achieve, what is the word? As soon as they were safe in La Liga, they end up the season recording 5 defeats. This campaign is very similar in a way. I mean, as soon as they got 39 points, I'm not going to say they relaxed, but the results are there, and one of the explanations have to be that. I mean, Getafe doesn't have the urgency of Leganés right now, or Las Palmas. Are they going to stay safe with 39 points? I think that they will, but still, at some point, they will be competitive and they will make it hard for the opponent, and I think that it can happen this time. A draw pays 280. Not that I dislike it, personally. Sancet to score or assist can be a very good one as well. The other day, Ollán Sancet was back. In my opinion, he's the best player of Athletic. Anyway, even better than Nico Williams, or at least more important for the team. And Sancet was the architect of Athletic Bilbao's goal. He didn't give the assist, but he basically did the link-up play to give a pre-assist. So Sancet to score or assist is something that I would keep in mind, But yeah, a draw 280 can be an interesting one here. This game can be an under too, by the way, because Athletic Bilbao has the best defense in La Liga right now, 26 goals conceded, and Getafe has conceded 34, which is little as well. So this game could be potentially an under as well. And if you go to the under market, you will see that, for example, under 2 goals pays 168. A little bit risky, in my opinion. Under 1.75 goals pays 2. I think that the draw is what gives you more value, and I think that it's a real possibility. Getafe losing 6 games in a row, I don't see that happening, but I don't see Athletic losing here. Draw 280 will be where my money would go. But again, I mean, you will see in Mallorca what are my favorite games, and this one is not my favorite one to bet for a number of reasons.
Okay, Alvaro, this is it for our midweek games in La Liga. Remember that you can post your tips in Oddspedia and participate in our tipster competitions and win some cash. And also that we have rivals for you where you can create your own tipster competitions. Alvaro, let's go with your safe bet.
Yeah, it's a low one this time. Barcelona to win, 130.
And the ACCA?
Asian handicap minus 1 for Villarreal. Asian handicap minus 1 for Barcelona. Mbappé to score. Altogether 365.
Okay, Alvaro, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. See you this week again, Alvaro. Bye bye.
See you on Friday. Bye bye.